Hello, assalamu alaikum. So I am gonna give you the class about seismic load analysis. That how we will calculate about the our seismic load analysis. Okay. As I have made the drawing for make you understand, and after understanding data of the drawing, then you can design massive structures. Okay. Here this one is my drawing. Okay, so today is the concept of only drawing, then inshallah the rest of the classes will be about seismic load analysis. Okay, this one is actually my drawing, but it's normally about the seismic load analysis. Okay, so wait a minute till the data get on. So today is actually the analysis of our drawing. So I have make the drawing. I have make some of my that is called that is some of my randomly drawing. Okay, it may be it doesn't open. Don't know why. I will open it again. It may be some of the confusing for you. And because it is this drawing is not properly designed from the SAP. Okay, this is the drawing for only concept. Okay, so make remember that first of all I have to show you one thing, that this one is complete room. Okay, this one is complete room, and this box you have seen that in the square form. Let's suppose this in the square form. What you have seen here, this is called your bay. Okay, this one is all called, it is your bay. This one is other bay, and this is your grid. What is basically grid? And this is your grid. The white lines you are watching, this is your grid. Grid is actually the center distance between the two columns. Have you seen here that this is center distance of this one is column, and this center distance of this column. Okay, so this is basically center to center distance of this column. This is known as grids. Here I in this drawing I have also provided you can see here that is shear wall. I have provided this one is shear wall, and this one is shear wall. So what is shear wall? Shear wall is normally provided. Shear wall is normally provided to resist the lateral load of the adjacent side. Okay, and this forces is normally as horizontal forces. This is you can see here that is along y-axis I have provided shear wall. Shear wall is normally provided to resist the seismic load like wind load, earthquake load. It is normally resist that. Okay. So make sure that I am now what is difference between dead load and live load. Okay. The load actually the building during the construction. Okay. So as during the construction we do not include the dead load. Environmental load is also a dead load. Okay. Sorry, environmental load is actually live load. Okay, because snow load, rain load, and something other load is actually live load. Okay, whereas dead load, the load of the structure itself is basically live load, because in the SAP 2000 whenever you give the value as 1, so you say that it have a self multiplier 1. What is meant by the self multiplier 1? It means that that all the weight self is already calculated of the software. But how basically how SAP is normally take the value of this, that is multiplier by 1. Okay, that is shear wall. Our code says that UBC code 97. It is said that its shear wall having thickness is normally 200 mm, that is 8 inch, whereas our UBC code 97 said that I have take some techniques here. You will see here I have take the sum of the UBC code. It is about shear wall, page number chapter number 9, page number 45. You can found here, but for my understanding, I have captured some pictures. Okay. So here this is normally for the that is normally for the shear wall. Okay, this one. Okay, this. So our that is not chapter number 9 and page number 49. As I told you, here it shows that a minimum of 2 parallel shear walls should be placed in each orthogonal direction. The walls could be categorized. Shear wall shall a minimum thickness of 200 mm, that is 8 inch. This is our UBC code 97 says that. This is our some of the modification that is normally given, that at least in each of the two direction shear wall should be placed with a spacing not exceeding what 6.75 meter, that is 22 foot for masonry building and 22 foot for confined masonry building. This one of the some of the specifications. Okay. Now what is basically shear wall is, so it means 75% of the vertical load should be supported by the shear wall. It means the load that is normally acting on the shear wall, it must be supported, that is 75%. But but the ACI said that about the height. This is about the ACI, that is American Institute Concrete Institute. It is said that the minimum thickness of six is about 150 mm. Okay, as you can see here, our story is this one. Okay, so story height is normally, that is, it said that that is ground floor, this is first floor, and this is second floor. Okay, this one second floor. So our code said that that is if you say that this is ground, this is first, and this is second. Okay, up to this value, it means that up to this value you have to take the thickness is 150 mm, whereas when the value is got greater, that is this minimum thickness is increased 1 inch, that is 25 mm for each 25 foot, that is 7.6 meter. Okay, it means that as you can see here, as you can see in our code, that is UBC code 97. Okay, it says that length to height and account to thickness modification and some of the thing given in 9.14 table. But you can also see that in the 9.14 table if you want to go on UBC, and you can also use ACI, because ACI is can also be easily used in Pakistan. So this code requires horizontal, that is 1 inch 25 mm, that is to 25 foot or 7.6 mm, you can easily go on. Here other thing is you have to calculate easily that here you can see the garage here. This one is room, this one is room, and this one is your column. Okay, your column dimension is 600 cross 600 mm. Always remember that while I designed the randomly structure, I normally took the values in feet, but I have considered it into meters because I am going to solve my all problem into meter. It is because my code normally gives us that kilonewton per meter square, so I have to convert all values into meter. Then it will cause difficulty and time consuming, so I just consider foot values into meter. Okay, and this one is basically secondary beam. Okay, now this is your primary beam. What is primary beams? Primary beam is actually that beams which is normally used to support from one column to other column, and this is your secondary beam. Secondary beam is normally support from one beam to the other beam. Okay, this is your secondary beam, and always remember that there are some techniques for the secondary beam. Okay, there is some techniques of secondary beams. Okay, you must have remembered that primary beam have horizontal flexure beam structure member which is directly connected to support compressive structure member, that is column. Okay, now you can see here that it is primary beam, it is supported from one column to other column. Okay, this is directly supported with the column. It is also your secondary beam, also known as the main beam. Okay, which safely transfer the load to column acting on the main or by secondary beam if it is present. Okay, yes, here you can see that it is normally transfer the load from column to column, and it is also transfer the load to the secondary beam. Okay, this one. Now you can see here secondary beam that those type horizontal flexural beam structure member which is directly connected to primary beam and not connected directly to the column. This beam is known as secondary beam, which is safe to transfer load to the primary beam acting on it by the slab. Okay, this one is your secondary beam. Okay, and this is normally slab, and this normally existing on the primary beam. So for the primary beam you have to take its width and normal width as it is lies here, that it is, if its width is not if it's something at width, then you have to deduct it, and because you have to find out its internal area of the secondary beam. There is some types of a secondary beam that this is very important thing, that primary beam is known as main beam, which is a longer span and have shorter span, that is then primary beam. Primary beam is directly connected to the column, and but secondary beam is indirectly connected to the column. Okay, indirectly means from that is first support from the first support on the primary beam and then to the column. Primary beam transfer load safely into the column which is acting on the slab. Okay, it means that this one. So first of all, I want to show you about the main points about this. That primary beam are shear connected or simply supported, and secondary beam are provided for supporting and reduce deflection of primary beam and slab. Okay, it is normally reduced deflection. Why deflection? Because in the center there is bending moment is strong, while at the edges there is large shear force. Therefore, we normally give a little span distance to the ties. Okay. Here the deflection is high and for this deflection we have to increase the thickness of the slab. Okay, to reduce this thickness for the slab and to decrease the load on the other column, we normally provide the secondary beam. Always remember that one other point is that primary beam is regular necessary component of building frame. Secondary beam is not regular component. Okay, this is other thing is I think so. That is more important point what I have shown you. You can see here that depth and width of primary beam is more than the secondary beam. Okay, it is one of the most important point. You have to deduct it, and you have to keep in notice that always your depth and width primary beam is always more than. Okay, this one is important point, is always more than, because if you give it more depth and weight, then it is weight definitely got increased, then it will and weight got increased, due to which the weight will be occur on the primary beam, and due to which it cause the failure in the primary beam. Okay, so you have to make 100% understand that you have to give here less dia. Okay, having less depth and less weight. Okay, so other thing is live load. So what is basically live load? What our code said about live load, that what is basically live load is, according to UBC 97 Pakistan, here if you write here it's about environmental, then it will show you about environmental. Okay, this one is your live load. You can see here that what is live load basically. I think so it got disappear. That is live load. Okay, that is a factor load. Factor load is basically is the product of load specified in section and load factor. Okay, I will discuss this in our next classes. Okay, factor load and factor intensity. First of all, you have to understand what is basically live load. Okay, live load are those load produced by use and occupancy of the building or other structure, do not include dead load. Okay, this is normally not include dead load. Live load having for the momentary direction. Okay, let's suppose if there is something that is normally die on the structure, then you cannot consider it as a dead load because it is movable. Because anything it is movable, you have to consider it as a live load. So dead load, so construction load, here you can see here this is live load also, because it is your construction load, because construction means that your column load, beam load, slab load, this is all you are considering as a dead load. Whereas the construction load means that when you are giving the construction, then you have given the construction, then you have to build here first of all like cement bags and some of the steels in tons. Okay, there are steels in tons. There are different types of techniques you have to use. A steel in tons, that is normally there is you can offer for the more steel, then you can give it to back. Then there may be that is removable load, that is construction load. Environmental load. Okay, environmental load, what type of environmental load has is, that is wind load. Okay, that is a load of the air, that is wind load. That is snow load, that is load of the ice, rain load, earthquake load, or flood load. So this is all load having considered is, that is not permanent load, having considered as your live load. This one for the structure. Okay, in this structure we will find out the load of the rooms, library, classroom, guest room, stores, auditorium, assembly room, our garages, our shear wall, our secondary beam. Okay, so each and everything we will consider it. Now if I talking about our this structure. Okay, this actually the structure and the elevation. What is basically elevation here? So you can see here that this is normally contours. This is line, the red line you are showing, this is contours, and this is normally below the ground. Always consider that during finding out the seismic weight, as we are finding the seismic weight of calculation manually for 4-story building, Dera Ismail Khan, UBC code 97. Okay, so always remember that this is normally contours. Okay, the line which is normally below the structure, below the seismic is known as you cannot find out the seismic load here. Here you can see here the story height, that is 3 foot 6 inch, 3 foot 6 inch here. Okay, so for the, always remember that for the lumped case, okay, for the lumped case, you have to take the half of this story and lumped into this. Okay, you have lumped mass, find out there. It is about 5.835.812. We will find out in the further classes. This one is your first floor, that is this one, half of this story, and then lumped into it. Okay, this one is your find out in the further. So this all the step is easily and very detailed, can be understood in your further classes if you see that part 2. Okay, this is all is normally detailed. So this is actually our basic concept of our elevation of the building. Okay, so other thing is how we will find out our such of the structure. Okay, so base shear is normally in chapter number 5. We can also find out here, that is base shear. I have detailed in discuss. That is normally base shear. Okay, we will find out the base shear by this formula. Here the total design shear does not exceed from this. Okay, this was this. Okay, the total design shear, it means that the shear you have designed for this, that total load. Okay, your total load what you have designed. Okay, that is total load. It must not be increased from this value. Okay, this one. Okay, if this check is okay, it means that your total load you have designed for base shear. Okay, so your total load will not be equal than this. Okay, it must be remembered that. If you are from zone 4, then you have to apply this value, and it is also be less than this value. Okay, you can apply time period from this value. And other thing is you can find out here. If I drag down, okay, here is the value for the vertical distribution of force. Okay, here in the UBC code 97, you can apply this formula, that is Fx into V minus Ft Ws summation of Wi Hi. Okay, what is this? Normally shows this as in our further classes. I will show you that Ft, that is this one is your value, that is called Ft. Ft is not normally used. Okay, except 0.25 V. Okay, what is your V? This is your normally included your base shear value. Okay, this is your base shear value, but you have to consider it 0. Why it is 0? Because, and maybe consider as 0 where t is 0.7 second or less. Okay, if your time period is 0.2 second or less, then you have to consider it as 0. Okay, for large values it is normally we consider for high-rise building. So as our building is normally up to 4 stories, so it is normally considered as 0. What is t is 0.7. Okay, if I go further, if I go and move my mouse upward, you will see here that here is t. Okay, I will open my calculator. Okay, that is value is 0.0743. If I take this, you can if you have a steel movement resisting frame, you can take this value. If you have a reinforced movement resisting frame and eccentrically of brace frame, you have opened this value, and you have this value, that is 526. So 0.0, okay, 0.0 and 743. Okay, this one you can multiply it with the height. So how much you have to take the height. Okay, first of all you have to consider that you have a ground floor, okay, that is from this one to this one, that is normally how much? That is 3.5. and how many stories? Okay, that is ground floor and ground plus 4, that is 1. Okay, that is 1, 2, 3 and 4. So ground plus 4. Okay, that is means 5. So you can write here 5 cross 3.5. Okay, so you can or you can 5 here, 5 cross 3.5. Okay, this one, and normally you get story height 17.5 foot. And as I told you that here I didn't consider foot. Okay, it is meter, so that is 17.5. you can consider it meter. So okay, for in case of FPS, if I consider in meter, then you have to calculate this value, but I have considered in meter, so 0.0743 will be used. 17.5 you can take its exponent, okay, for the exponent, and this value is 3 by 4. This one is 3 by 4 and 3 divided by 4 here, okay. So you will see here 8.556 and multiply with 0.0743, 0.0743, okay, this one. So you can see here that your time period is 0.635, that is definitely less than this value, okay. This one is that is basically, you can see here that this value is less than this value, that is 0.6 here. First of all, value gonna vanish here, I think so, that is dragged down, yes, this one, okay. Now you can see here that is 0.25 and t is 0, where t is equal to 0.7 and second are less than this. So you can see here, so your t is 0.7, okay, your 0.6 here, t is 0.6, okay. So as your t is 0.6, therefore you have to take ft is equal to 0, okay. I will consider it in the last class, okay. So this is our first class, okay. You can find out the seismic load analysis here by manually. Thank you.